Hey everyone, thanks for downloading this special edition of the Hashtag Podcast, where I am going to do a basic walkthrough through the new Stories feature, which was released today. I didn't have any knowledge of this prior to a few hours ago, so this is all fresh. I've just been really messing with it and figuring out what all you can do and how it relates to Snapchat and how it compares. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't know anything that you probably don't already know, but for those of you who maybe don't have it yet or haven't really messed around with it enough to understand what it is, it's essentially a feature that allows you to share more and in a different way. What I've noticed over the last year or so is people have been kind of flocking to Snapchat because Snapchat gives you more of an intimate, behind-the-scenes connection with the people that you follow. And just all that said, I'm still learning this as I go through this recording. I'm going to be doing some editing. So without further ado, here is a brief introduction of the Stories app. So essentially what it is you can create a photo or a short video that's about 10 seconds long, and you can create a series of these and they will stay within the Stories portion of the app, of the Instagram app, for up to 24 hours unless you delete them sooner. You have the option to post them to your feed as individual snaps if it's just one video or one photo. You can export them and save them to your phone. You can draw on them. You can take photos or some filters. There's all kinds of things that you can do with this app. If you've ever used Snapchat, it's basically the same exact thing minus a few features, but there are a few features that I do really enjoy, and I'll get to those in a few minutes. So for those of you following along on the video, let me put it this way. If you're not following along on the video and you're only listening to the audio only version, no problem. I'll try to explain it as best as I can without you being able to follow along, but just hear me out. So when you open the app, if you have the feature, the most recent version of Instagram, at the top, you're going to see 5 circles. The first one will be your avatar or your avatar profile photo. And then after that will be anybody that you follow who has recently posted a Snap story, or an Instagram story. And if there's a red circle around it, or the Instagram purple, orange, yellowish ring around it, that means there's a new story in there that you can go check out. If you scroll to the left, you'll see basically everyone you follow who has posted a story. And once you get to the portion where they don't have the colored circle around their profile, then that means you've probably already watched the video and there's nothing new in there. So eventually it will end. That's when you get to the point where, I guess for everybody it will be the Instagram logo saying new, because that's the first story that popped up. All right, so to get started, essentially all you do is hit the plus button on the top left of your screen above those circles, and it will bring you to the main screen of the Stories feature. At the bottom, you're going to see a flash looking icon, which is basically your flash. You can switch it to on, automatic, or off. When you click those, there's 3 different options. The default position is just the flash, and then which indicates that it's off, and then you hit it again and it's white, which indicates that it's on, and then automatic, there's an A that will pop up, which will indicate that it's going to decide whether or not it should fire off. If you go all the way to the right, you'll see a little rotate icon, which is basically to flip the screen around on you. Hey! And nobody wants to see that, so I will put it back on the Hashtag Podcast logo. Then from there, all you do, if you want to record a video, you simply hold down that center key and you'll see the little colors rotating around the circle. And eventually, when it's done, you've completed a story. So that is the 10-second or however long, I haven't timed it, the story that I just recorded. I can either hit cancel, which is in the bottom left. I can hit the check mark, which is in the bottom center, which will add it to the the storyline. Or I can hit this little bottom right icon, which will save it to my camera roll, which is convenient if you want to post it later, and we'll get to that. Some other options up here in the top right, you're going to see a little marker kind of signal, and you have 3 different tips. You have a regular nib or whatever, and you can kind of scribble around. You can undo that if you don't like it. You've got this chisel tip, and that essentially does a cool little calligraphy type angle thing, which is cool. I can undo that. And then you've got this neon option, which is a new feature to Instagram. I don't think that's in Snapchat. I don't like any of those. So you can change the colors down here at the bottom. You can scroll through different shades and different tones. You've got your main, bright primary colors and, all the other colors. And you've got some faded colors and then some grayscale colors. This little thing, if you in the bottom left, you will be able to increase the size of the tip that you're using. So let's just say I want to do a red regular point tip, make a W there because W's are cool. I can decrease that and make it smaller, and you kind of get the point. If I want to do some neon stuff, which I'm not quite sure why there's neon stuff, it's a little strange to me, but it's still kind of cool looking, I guess, if you're into that type of thing, and some people are. But yeah, you can see it's essentially what you can do on Snapchat, but it seems a little cleaner for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it does seem a little cleaner than what Snapchat offers. So I'm going to undo all of that, and you can go back to infinity, I believe, undoing everything. And then once you're done, you can just hit done. Now, if I hit done and I go back to this screen and I realize, there's something I didn't like, I can go back in here and undo those as well and hit done. So you're not quite stuck. The other option is you can just add text. So, hello, everyone, exclamation point. And put that wherever you want on the screen. You can rotate it, make it big, small, just by pinching and zooming. And again, you can, if you're finished with all that, you can hit the check mark and do all that stuff. If I want to go back in and edit my text, you certainly can, just like you would in any regular text editor. Hello, just one person instead of everyone. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The one thing I haven't quite figured out with the text is if you can add color, and you might be able to. I just haven't figured that out yet, and if I do, I'll maybe go back and add that to this video. So that's it for that. So let me just get out of here. Okay, so I recorded that video, and I did not add it to my timeline yet because I don't want to broadcast this just yet. Up in the top right, you're going to see a little arrow that points to the right, and that will basically just bring you back to your main screen. Another thing about this feature that isn't really hidden, but it's kind of neat, if you go into somebody's profile, I know that Maury Page has, so I can go to Maury's profile. Where are you at, Maury? There you are. And you can see how Maury has the colored ring around his avatar, which means he does have a video in there. You just hold down on that, or tap it, it will bring you to his story. And then it goes away. So that's kind of neat. So whenever you're looking for new people, it will indicate whether or not they have a story in there, which is actually a really neat feature. So one last option that you have available to you once you're in the screen where you take photos and videos is you can scroll down and it will show you anything that's on your camera roll that you've done in the last 24 hours that you can add to your story. I have some videos from, of my daughter that I'm not going to share. Her putting Band-Aids all over her legs, which is awesome. But if I want to put like this photo that I posted about, the questions earlier, I can put that on there, which is great. And then I can add that to my storyline. Whereas in Snapchat, and this is the feature that I really like about this, in Snapchat, it clearly distinguishes between photos that you've taken, and it really distorts them and just crops them, and it just looks bad. This is nice and clean, and I really like that approach that Instagram took with this. So that's pretty much that for how to make a video post. Now let's say you want to do a photo. If you just simply take a photo with it, you've got a few options. You can scroll to the right. It'll start adding different filters on there. You can scroll to the left. It'll essentially do the same thing. It'll just rotate through the filters. So to answer everybody's question that I'm sure everybody's dying to know, there is no face swap yet. There is no dog tongue or any interesting filters that Snapchat has made. This is all just color filters, essentially. If you want to get out of here, you can simply just swipe right and you're back to your main screen. All right, so now let's look through some of these videos that other people have posted. So here's what I've posted earlier today. Now, what I really like, if you look in the top, you can see how long this is going to take to get through my ranting. I've done 3 videos. As you can see, there's 3 different bars up at the top, and you can see the progress of those as it goes along. That's a feature that Snapchat does not have. Something they should have, though, because I go on really long rants. Sometimes they last forever. This is a handy feature. Now, let's say you want to view how many times your photo has been viewed or your video has been viewed. You can scroll up and it shows you. Similar to videos when you post a video on Instagram. So it shows you everybody who's viewed your video. You can download that particular video. You can add it to your actual gallery or your feed using that little upload icon, or you can just delete it if you want to take it off your feed altogether. Another thing, when you're in here, you have a few options. Up in the top left, you're going to see a little settings gear, and in there you have story settings. The first option is to hide stories. You can hide it from 0 people all the way up to as many people as you want. No offense to those people, I'm just randomly picking them. So it'll show you hiding from 6 people. I am not aware of a way yet where you can select just a few people that you want to send it to. If I find that out, I will let everybody know. But as of right now, I don't know of a way to do that. You can only select who you want to hide it from. You can allow messages replies from everyone, only people you follow, or you can just turn all message replies off. When you get a message reply, it essentially just shows up in your direct messages up in the top right of your main Instagram page that people never check anyway, so don't worry about that. And you can go through if you just scroll to the left or right, you can click through your other videos to view the stats on the view stats on those. And then you can close it when you're done. Now, a cool thing about this is you can swipe left or swipe right onto the next video if you'd like. Or you can just tap and it will skip videos to the next one. So if there's somebody you really don't want to see, like me, you can just tap past me, right? Now, once you get to everyone else, it'll just play like a regular timeline. I'll let this play for a minute. There's Tyler in Minnesota. And you can, again, look it up at the top. You can see as the progress goes along. That's really handy. Now, there's some people, if they're following along, I believe, with you, you can, down in the bottom left, hit send a message, which will allow you to send a message. So I'm going to send a message to Jamie Lennon, who is Lennon James' wife. Be on a tutorial for IG stories. Hope you don't mind. Smiley face. Send. All right, so Jamie, as you can see up top, it was just sent. You can hit this ... there. You can report somebody if they're being inappropriate, or you can just cancel. So let's just say, and I'm going to skip some people, and there's no offense, I've already watched a lot of these. But if I just tap on the right side of the screen, it will skip to the next video. Or I can simply swipe left. Or if I want to go back and watch Jason M. Peterson's video, I can swipe right. And it'll just bring me back through the videos. So that's a neat feature that you don't have with Snapchat. There's Alex Saramatero, who is a hashtag podcast OG. My buddy Hobbs, who is so excited, obviously. Check him out. Hobbs2485. Such a happy boy. Such a mad boy. Look at that. All right, anyway. Actually, I'm going to send him a message. Anyway, I'm going to close this out. You pretty much get the idea. That's essentially how Stories works. If I find more things about this, please check my post on the website or on this Instagram feed. I'll let you know if there's any updates to the tutorial. But hopefully this was helpful. I hope that everybody really enjoys this. I think it's a great way to grow the community. And I think, I feel bad for Snapchat a little bit because it's been a great platform. But I honestly don't think this is going to be very good for them. So this was recorded the day it came out, literally hours, less than 10 hours after it came out. So there may have been some things that I missed, or there may be some things that have not been released yet. So just enjoy this. Okay, well, let's answer some questions before I leave. So London Viewpoints asks, what's it like? I still don't have it here in the UK. And actually Sunflower of 21, Elaine as well. They're both in the UK. So hopefully this answered that question for you guys. Vivian, who is also a hashtag podcast OG, when will we get the dog filter and face swap? Vivian, that's a great question. I do not know. I don't think that they're in a hurry to do that, though. The Sakatur, who will be on an episode very soon. I'm kind of addicted to this LOL. Photo by Gary B has not seen it either. Hopefully this tutorial has been helpful. And Mary wants to know, will I stop using Snapchat? Mary, I don't know. Smiley face, send. All right. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Again, look at this screen. If you have any questions about the new stories feature, please post them on that. I will try to do my best to answer them as new information comes through. And I will do little updates as they come along as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's really hard to tell what's going on with the audio version, but if you are viewing this on YouTube or the website, enjoy it and let me know if you have any questions. This is very rough, very impromptu. I didn't plan this out at all. I just kind of went with the flow on this. So thanks a lot for listening, guys. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy stories.